The Genshin Impact 5.7 livestream happened on June 6, 2025. There were a lot of changes that I'm really excited about, new implementations that really boost the quality of life, and the story progression that we will get about the twins, all of which we will be reviewing and giving opinions about today. Hello, my name is Degi, and I will be your host for this review. So, let's begin. No shocker that the trailer is absolutely wild, but we also have to remember that it is a combination of different parts of different quests. That said, let's talk about the siblings. From the trailer, it feels like the Abyss twins' plan is finally coming to fruition, and in all honesty, I hope the Traveler isn't able to hinder it. I would really like to know what is going on in their mind and their plan. It does look like, though, that the Abyss sibling has some sort of savior complex when it revolves around Conria, which makes me wonder if the Abyss has somehow corrupted their mind. Also, if you consider the fact that in the trailer for Tevat, it mentions the Traveler saving their sibling. The Abyss siblings said the statement, "I cannot miss the chance to reunite with you 500 years in the past," and it also mentions their spaceship, which leads me to believe we will be getting some backstory on how and why they came to Tevat. In the announcement image, we see the Abyss twin create a rip in the sky, and as we know, there are areas in Natlan that have cracks in the sky. Could that be part of their plan, to destroy the false sky completely? Moving on to Skirk, who had a big part in this trailer, it seems to me that the Abyss and the Abyss Order are on two different sides, as it's mentioned that someone got a hold of the power of the all-devouring narwhal, which as we know is her master, Sutologi's pet. Thinking about it further does beg the question of what role is the Abyss playing, especially since it's not on the good side of things. Also, how does Child tie into all of this, since, as we know, it wasn't just by coincidence that he fell into the Abyss, and as far as we know, he's the only person who's been able to use the power of the Abyss that is from Tevat. Let's not forget the fact that Skirk's master is also called the Foul, and his abyssal art is called Foul Legacy. But don't mind me just casually bringing him into this. This is just speculation, but I feel like we may get more elements soon, as Skirk mentions the Traveler hasn't studied abyssal art yet. Let's also not overlook the fact that she also says that part of the Traveler's soul is damaged. In all honesty, this kinda makes sense to me, as we know that the Abyss twin is not normal, which could be due to the abyssal corruption, which could also be affecting the Traveler now. There was also a discussion about this back at the last Lantern Rite, when the Traveler was saving Hu Tao and how it is affecting them. If we also think about the whole purification process the Traveler uses, is it simply them just removing the Abyss, or is it some kind of trade-off? And I'm more inclined to think it's the latter. I'm not the best at understanding gameplay for characters, but right off the bat, it seems like Skirk may have similar combat weapon animations to Child's skill, switching from a sword to multiple weapons, which I think is a very cool thing for the devs to implement. She utilizes the power of the Abyss but disguises them to look like cryo attacks. Unlike other characters, she doesn't make use of elemental energy but uses a unique kind of energy called Serpent Subtlety, which is identifiable by the change in her outfit. It seems that she will be used best in teams of Cryo or Hydro. Cryo, which enables her to generate void rifts that she can absorb via charged or elemental burst, which in turn increases her damage based on the number of rifts absorbed. This type of gameplay sounds nice. I like the idea of a new type of skill and burst on a character that is different from others, and that focuses on the character's overall damage. I think it would be very interesting to see how flexible she is in different teams, especially ones that are not cryo focused, because I don't stick to rules and most of my teams don't make sense. Dahlia. First, I just want to say, Hoyo, come on, you could have given him a 5-star burst like Barbara and they could have been matching, okay Hoyo? Why did you do this to me? Anyway, Dahlia, Deacon of the Church of Favonius, is a 4-star Hydro sword user and support character. His elemental burst provides a shield for all party members. During this time, he can gain stacks of benison by either normal attack or triggering freeze reactions. When his shield breaks, he will consume the stacks of benison, which will allow him to summon his shield again, which protects and increases resistance to interruption. His elemental skill changes use based on who interacts with it. When placed and party members step on it, it launches them into the air, allowing for plunge attacks and avoiding damage. But if enemies interact with it, it explodes and deals AoE hydro damage. Dahlia seems like he would be a good matchup for Skirk or cryo DPS characters like Chungyun. Yes, I said Chungyun, and no, I will not be taking questions at this time. But I am also interested in seeing how useful his shield is, as he is the first Hydro Shield character, and I lack the ability to dodge anything, but I think his skill will also be interesting to use in terms of exploration. Version 5.7 has a lot of fun looking events, which will both require you to think and strategize and allow you to relax and have fun. The event, Battle of Imagined Arrays, includes a teamfight tactics game where you will draft a team that battles automatically on your behalf. In this game mode, you would be able to choose between species of the same or different types, which have different effects based on your team composition, as well as the ability to equip weapons and food on your team to increase their strength. This event also has a research stage where players can unlock additional buffs for their teams. Completing this event gives various rewards as well as a free Sethos. The next event, Fearsome Ferocious Firepower. In this event, we will make use of cannons to disrupt different enemies and their formations, all which have different effects and different ways to beat. Finally, Reminiscent Regimen Frenzy is a co-op event where players can team up to beat 3 unique stages. Players will be able to select different regiments, which will give different buffs to the entire team when completed. Random regiments will be given at the beginning of each challenge though, so it's best to select characters that work well together and can complete the different tasks. The main quality of life in this update can be attributed to the new endgame mode, Stygian Onslaught. In a sentence, this mode feels like a mix of Spiral Abyss and Artifact Domains. Well, that's because it is. This new game mode consists of levels from easy to dire, where players will receive primogems, artifacts, and artifact enhancement items. Players will be able to select what artifacts they want before the challenge begins, as well as being able to select characters from friends who have completed the challenge. This is good, especially for low-level players who have a hard time completing these types of endgame. But what if you don't have friends? The improvements that everyone, especially me, is excited about is the artifact-related item Dust of Enlightenment, which allows players to re-roll their level 20 artifacts and specify the substats they want to prioritize. Players are also happy about the new addition of artifact loadouts, allowing for quick swap of artifacts between characters, which people have been asking for ages. Personally, I am more excited about the Dust of Enlightenment as I have so many artifacts with good substats that just always roll bad. Pairing it with the artifact transmuter and a little bit of luck, and boy oh boy did artifact farming become so much better. For loadouts, I don't really have that many artifacts that I can switch between characters, but the fact that it's still an option is a really good improvement. The wishes for this update include the new characters Skirk, a 5-star, and Dahlia, a 4-star, in the first half of version 5.7, alongside Shenhe, while Mawika and Emily are in the second half. This order is also followed in the weapon banners, with the new 5-star weapon Azurite in the first half of 5.7. My opinion on these banners is that they feel okay at first glance, and probably are if you are a normal person and are not me, who actually wants 3 out of the 4 5-stars on the banner, but can't get them because you are F2P. But I digress. Hoyo really knows how to plan their peak banners across their different games, which I will give them credit for. But from a personal standpoint, I do see the intended 5-stars players would be more enticed to pull for, which makes me kind of feel bad for Shenhe and Emily. But that's not to say players won't pull for them, as I 100% want Emily. Which makes me wonder, what are your pulling plans for 5.7? Finally, we'll be looking at Nod Cry. In 6.0, we would be in Nod Cry uncovering all its secrets and connecting the story so far. From everything we have seen, it looks to me like a completely different world from Tevat, but not really. Nod Cry is the place where a lot of the popular factions and characters we've been hearing about will be, which means that it would be a pretty lore-heavy region. Some people are not happy about this approach, but I say, let's wait and see what's in store for us, as it looks promising. From the live stream, we see the Hexenzirkel and Alice, Varka and the Knights of Favonius, and different factions we have been hearing about, as well as the Fatui. And honestly, anywhere the Fatui is, I will always be happy about, because why not? They're the freaking Fatui. I would also like to deep dive into the different factions and know exactly who we can and can't trust. I mean, it would be very suspicious if everyone we met was nice. Seeing all of this is kind of overwhelming as a player who wants to deep dive into the lore but doesn't know where to start from. Yeah, the lore subreddit is a very scary place. Hence why I've been considering looking into the lore myself and delivering it to you guys who may be in a similar situation. Let me know what you think about this below. Overall, it seems like Genshin is entering a new era in their gameplay and storytelling, which I know at first a lot of players were not and still aren't happy about, but I think it is needed, not only to further flesh out the game, but to re-excite players and bring in new ones. I think it's really nice how Hoyo shows they have a passion for what they're doing and is listening to players. Are there aspects of the game that still need improvement? Yes, but I believe that they want to do better and are trying. But overall, looking at the live stream and seeing everything that they have and will be delivering, it seems very, very promising. And I'm actually really excited to see where they take the game further. My overall opinion on 5.7 and the live stream is that I'm really hyped for it. It seems like the game is getting more lore focused and is focusing on its story and how they can also implement gameplay to make it all feel like this united and beautiful thing. So for 5.7, my expectations out of 10 are probably an 8 or 9. I'm just gonna say 8 for even in good measure. My expectations are an 8 out of 10. With version 5.7 releasing on the 18th of June, I will 100% be pulling for Skirk and hopefully her weapon. So if you want to see how that goes, be sure to like and subscribe to stick around for it. In the meantime, I have other Genshin lore analysis shorts on my channel that I think would pickle your brain a bit. And if you are interested, check out my Minecraft story let's play, which delves deep into my love for story and fantasy. Or this other video that YouTube thinks that you'll like. With that, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye bye!